Good afternoon, all. Okay, it is my honor to be here today as your keynote speaker. I want to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to DI inviting me to speak at this international forum. It is inspiring to see that um, a very big, a diverse great group of individuals and organizations coming together to discuss about the important issues facing today. I believe that these kind of events, okay, like this, are essential to explore and changes and promote innovations in our fashion industry. Being connected to fashion, okay, for more than half a century, actually, I'm humbled by the opportunity to share my thoughts and insight with you about a topic that is both timely and essential, and that is circular fashion. And I hope that we can connect each other to meet the goals and also the UN SDGs, as well as to work together towards a better and brighter future. I understand that this forum will cover various topics that are related to promote sustainable fashion. So let me start with the fashion industry. All right. The global fashion industry, according to UN SDGs, okay, our global industry is one of the, oh, I have to press it down. Right, okay. Our global fashion industry is one of the largest employers in the world. It has a significant impact on our economy, society, and environment. It covers a complex supply chain that spans multiple countries and involves a wide range of suppliers, manufacturers, and retailers. However, it is the second largest consumer of water and wastewater. It is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions and generates 22 million tons of water per year. A lot of them ends up in landfills. It uses a huge amount of chemicals in production. And textile dyeing is being the second largest polluter of water globally after agriculture. So the above tell us that something needs to be done. Circular fashion is not just a buzzword, but has become an issue that has gained notable attention. It has become a movement with aims to transform the entire industry, our environment, and our society. Circular fashion is a holistic design approach rooted in history with aims to reduce natural resources and avoid waste in landfills. It will become an everlasting trend, and all related stakeholders must take a responsibility to build a better, brighter future for mankind. Research excellence. There is no denial that research excellence is central to circular fashion. The key purpose is to develop new materials, processes, and technology that are more sustainable and less harmful to the environment. All research studies need to be multidisciplinary and collaborative, involving scientists, engineers, designers, and business peers. Research findings should also provide innovative solutions to overcome pollutions, reduce waste, and lessen resources. Let's walk through some of the stakeholders. Policymakers. They are the decision makers from top level of public and private sectors. They are leaders in creating meaningful principles to support circular fashion and sustainable practice and socially responsible. They have the priority to complement research excellence, vocational skills, entire supply chain feasibility, and impact of sustainability towards general public awareness. They would like to support if only they have the access to evidence-based research, including the negative impacts of current linear fashion system. Those public sector, like the government, can introduce tax or financial incentives and support project fundings. Those private sectors, such as the companies, NGOs, and associations, can raise visibility and credibility to support events, campaigns, and awards to recognize good practices. Advocacy efforts are encouraged, including working with media, NGOs, associations, and other stakeholders to raise public awareness and build coalition. Other options can include supporting interactive activities like fashion shows, pop-up shops, and promotional events that can engage sustainable fashion to a wider audience. Next, I call it the entire force, the creator and makers. The entire maker force includes designers, producers, manufacturers related. Their decision-making processes, from design initiation to the end of a garment's life cycle, are key to the success of a circulation fashion. The entire processes required transparencies, visibilities, and accountability on environmental, social, and economic impacts in order to capitalize on benefits and minimize damages. To complement sustainability, sustainable organic and recycled material usage, cultural sensitivity should also be justly respected. Maybe like capsule collections instead of a full range are considered the best viable options to test market reaction and also to control costs. The influencers. Influencer marketing to increase brand awareness, visibility, and credibility of sustainable and circular fashions is gaining grounds. KOLs who have a strong following on social media can help brands to reach a wide pool of audience. Brands and designers can benefit by partnering with those influencers who have the dedication and the dedicated followers and can directly promote sales. Also, in recent years, the trend of designers transforming to KOLs is advancing. Next, vocational skills. Research excellence on its own is not enough. Vocational skills need to decentralize to other stakeholders in the industry, emphasizing sustainability, circularity, and ethical practices. Such knowledge should touch everyone, especially students in the tertiary education, to make ready for a hub or workforce to help shape a just society. Workshops can be tailor-made to textile repair skills, training in upcycling techniques, and more to meet future challenges. Role play in education. Same as vocational skills, sustainable practices should start early in education to echo social and economic benefits to circular fashion. Sustainable practices can be integrated into the curriculum to address barriers that prevent consumers from choosing sustainable options. If successful, a new generation of fashion professionals who are keen on sustainable practices can help drive changes. Having said that, adding content to the original or to the already structured curriculum is never easy. Not to mention the time-consuming planning, submissions, rehearsals, accreditations, validations, and revalidations. And such activities need to be reviewed after a few number of years. On the other hand, research projects are additional options to advance students' knowledge and drive innovation within the industry. Perhaps guest lectures by experts can bring in deeper personal experience as well as networking opportunities for students in sustainable practices. The retail industry, as said earlier, circular fashion engages multiple levels of fashion supply chain that relies on collaboration and coordination across different sectors and industries. Top management needs to be transparent to address all pros and cons issues, the so-called the good, the bad, and the ugly, to avoid exclusion of consumers' interest in sustainable options. Wide price point range, reachable to consumers of all incomes, can further satisfy social responsibility. Setting up second-hand pop-ups or online marketplaces can increase visibility, and likewise, discounts and vouchers are additional treats for consumers. In conclusion, with humanism that emphasizes human motivation, many believe sustainability needs to start with individuals, the public self. All stakeholders therefore need to raise their awareness about sustainability and circular fashion. Indoctrination can build greater knowledge and understanding about the impact of spending choices. With today's technology advancement, social media platforms can help brand increase visibility by reaching a wide audience to promote fashion options. Thank you.
Thank you for Professor Au for his truly valuable and engaging presentation. Let's move on to the Q&A session. If you have any question related to the topic, please feel free to raise your hand.
Okay, that's good. Oh, right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for your very insightful talk. And then you just mentioned about integrated curriculum in education and also vocational skill set. So my question will be about what do you think about the material design locally in Hong Kong, say for example, Science Park or maybe Cyberport? Anything that they integrate about material innovations locally in Hong Kong that they can bring up maybe some of the new talent in this area?
Well, I mean, I actually came from PolyU, okay, for a long time ago, and 40 years in PolyU teaching fashion. But the thing is, with my experience, I think that, it depends on each different institutions, how it incorporate with it, because I worked with redress before, okay, and see how to implement the sort of in materials. But I think that we have to start from simple thing, okay? We can't tell them that, this new fabrics, okay, it comes from where, and so on, you know. So in order to get them connected, that sustainability, okay, or circular fashion is so important. Why is it so important? Okay, I remember when I had my master degree collection, okay, in Central St. Martin, I already had my sustainable collection. That was in 1984. Okay, one of the reasons is because not at that time, you know, there's no such sort of a movement of what we call sustainability or circular fashion. But because it's very too expensive to study in Central St. Martin at that time, okay, in the sort of 80s. And what I did, you know, with my limited money, so what I do, I bought secondhand materials, okay? And buying second materials, they come from different colors. But the thing is, I know that in college, we have dyeing facilities. So what I did is, you know, I choose a color, okay, and put all the different materials, okay, into it and become a witch. So, you know, I did my collections. And it comes up with the same tone of colors. And that even the base, like for example, the navy, they come up with a slightly different tone. But the thing is, to make my collections good. And secondly, I have to work at home, okay, most of the time, because at that time, I also brought my kid, 3 years old, okay, over, because, you know, I can't afford, you know, two families at that time. So in order to do that, you know, I only have one sewing machine. So what I did is, I haven't used any overlocker, okay? So what I did is, every seam, I just use two stitching lines, okay? So it's something similar to what we call French seams, okay? So I sort seam one, and then I turn it in, and then bind it together. So all my collections are done without any overlockers, okay? And you know that overlockings, if you use 5 threads or 4 threads, you know how much threads they use. And at that time, you know, when I look back to it, I thought that, wow, I started my circular fashion a long time ago, okay? So I think that, you know, you use story, okay, storytelling to tell these young people about it. You don't force them to do it, okay? And at this point in time, I don't think that they need a lot of information because they can do it, you know, from their phones or from their iPad or whatever. They have their own sort of choice, okay, of knowing how they want to, you know, step into sustainability or circular fashion. But I think that, you know, at least in the institution nowadays, okay, I think that it's important that they must know hands-on. That is very, very important. Why I said that is because 5 years ago, okay, the government already formed a group called the AGF, okay, the what we call the expert group in it, okay, and I was one of them, you know. And when I introduced myself, okay, to all the sort of key people, okay, I said, I'm Professor Raymond Au. I'm representing fashion education, but I told them that fashion education is dead. The reason why is because just like in DI, Design Institute, they used to have a high diploma program for 3 years. They cut it to 2 years. For PolyU, at that time, they have a program with 120 credits. They cut it to 90. So what did they cut? They cut all the hands-on. They just give out the theory. And because of that, students just know what is about. But actually getting into it, you know, it's so difficult. So I would like, you know, other organizations or whatever, even CETA, okay, in order to add these sort of skills to them so that they know about, you know, how they can do it. Okay, thank you.